Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Good night out there. Geo is coming back in force. Raw power is coming out here. We know we have the new character, 4-star Gorou, as well as Arataki Itto, the new 5-star Oni God coming out. And obviously, every time we get 2 new characters, there's always a couple new weapons, a 5-star weapon, as well as a 4-star weapon, and also a new artifact set to come along with our Geo Lords here. So here's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing predictions on the new characters out there. Now, I might be wrong. I could also be very, very right with these predictions. I've been known time to time to be very good at the guessing game. If you guys have fun out there, you want to see more content, go ahead, do drop that sub. Let's get into it. Now, the first character we're going to be talking about here is Gorou. Now, Gorou, 4-star support, right? He's the General's Army leader out there, big Kokomi fan. And so Gorou, he's going to be doing, he's going to be having that bow frontline thing. And so we all know that Geo characters like to do a couple of things. Outside of Ningguang, they like to scale off of either HP or defense, right? Look at Zhongli, look at Albedo, look at good old Noelle out there, for those of you who are still rocking that girl. So how do we have a support character that wants to do Geo? And also look at the Geo Resonance buff from way back in the day. They really want you to use multiple Geo characters together. So here's what we're gonna do with Gorou here. Now we're gonna have an E and a Q, both very similar, but what's gonna happen here is Gorou's gonna plant that flag like he does on the battlefield with his elemental skill, and it's gonna do a couple things here. Now the main thing it's gonna do is a small amount of damage when you use it. However, that's not the only thing it's gonna do. Base effect is going to scale up based on how many Geo characters you have. So if you have, you know, maybe just Gorou in there, it's gonna give everyone in your party a flat amount of defense, right? That sounds okay, cool, good for Albedo, good for Noelle, good for probably Arataki Itto, because the 4-star likes to support the 5-star. Go ahead and look at Geo Characters. And then if you have 2 Geo characters in your party, the Geo thing, as always, resistance to interruption when taking damage. And then 3 Geo characters in your party, Geo damage up. He's gonna have a very high uptime as well. So I think Gorou, just like Geo Characters, and they're very anti each other, they're gonna be the sort of support characters of their own respective elements here. And so the elemental burst is going to be very similar to his elemental skill, but he's going to have some sort of effect that's going to give you this buff and refresh that buff. Same thing that Geo Characters does, right? While she's doing her elemental burst, all of the buffs from her elemental skill are going to be available during the duration of that sort of damage period. However, Gorou's is going to have a little bit lengthier time. Instead of like 3 seconds, however long it takes Geo Characters to do the lightning things coming out, Gorou's gonna have, you know, maybe like 9 seconds, all right, availability for this thing, and you're gonna have all the same buffs you would have if you have your E activated there, which is gonna be awesome as well here. Now, the other thing about this is Gorou, you know, he's buffing defense up for everyone else, but that's fine. He's really gonna be based on doing damage off of his own attack until you get into maybe some of his Ascension, add some defense, scaling to his elemental burst and his elemental skill. On top of that, also, he's going to give defense up increased during his elemental burst on top of what you would normally get from his elemental skill there as well. Now, that probably sounds very pog, but here's the one last thing. Just like Geo Characters gives crit damage to Electro characters on her C6, I'm pretty sure that Gorou, if he is the antithesis to Geo Characters, is going to have a crit damage buff for Geo damage, all right, while you are up there. And you have all of those stacks from having multiple Geo characters. So you run that mono element team. That sounds very Gorou-like to me. So what else are we gonna do and expect from Geo characters in the defense stat going in? Well, you know what? If we're gonna have 2 new Geo characters, we might as well add a brand new set. So we're gonna have a Geo focused set as well, which can be very nice. Now the 2-piece here is a 2-piece I predict that we've wanted for a long time for these defense scaling Geo characters. And it was always attached to like a 4-star set, right? The 20%, 15% defense set for the 2-piece from the old 4-star set. I don't even remember what it's called. Heart of something, I'm pretty sure. This one's gonna be 30% defense 2-piece. That sounds awesome. And then the 4-piece here is whether you're on the field or in the back lines, you're gonna gain multiple stacks. It's gonna increase your defense up even more and also give you Geo damage bonus as well while you're on the field or off the field. So it works with Albedo, works with Noelle, works with the new character possibly, maybe even works with Gorou, because it's probably gonna have some defense scaling somewhere in his kit, somewhere tied to some Ascension or Constellation somewhere, I'm sure. So you can have a lot of defense. So probably like 54-ish% with like 20-something% Geo damage up from this new set. And if using any of these defense scaling Geo characters, it is going to be a wild set. It's going to be amazing for you there. And then before we get into Arataki Itto, if we're having a new artifact set, obviously we're going to have some new weapons, right? So we're going to have a new weapon for Arataki Itto, who's a Claymore character. Is it going to be a 5-star debate club? I would hope so. Maybe it's not, though. We're also going to probably get a sword of sub-kind, right, for our Albedo fans out there. So if we're going to make a broken Albedo sword, what would it be? It'd probably be a 4-star sword. Keep them free to play friendly, low attack, but we don't care. And then have it give a ton of percent defense. I'm talking 60, 70% defense as its stat there at level 90. Then on top of that, what the ability is going to do is increase your elemental skill damage by percentage of your defense. We've seen this before with HP, right, on like Staff of Homa, go into your attack. We've seen this with like Raiden Shogun, where your energy recharge goes to electro damage, or if you have the Raiden Shogun's unique weapon and want to call it the Grass Cutter, Engulfing Lightning, where it's energy recharge to attack percent. We're going to get defense percent to elemental damage percent, and it's going to be an absurd amount of damage bonus there, and it's going to have a little bit of cooldown in it, but it's going to work perfectly with Albedo because he has a 2-second cooldown on proccing his elemental skill there after it's been already activated, unless you replant obviously his elemental skill flower back on the ground. And that sounds absolutely wonderful, maybe a little bit broken out there, so possibly maybe nerf that idea a little bit there. But if you want to talk about nerfing that idea, finally Geo's here. We've all wanted it out there in the good old Noel squad. We're gonna finally get a 5-star Claymore that does something with your defense, right? This is the time. So what I would do to make this broken, I'd make like the basic minimum of attack for a 5-star Claymore. Like that's the 608 variety of 5-star weapon there. And then give it that good old Staff of Homa treatment, 66% crit damage. That sounds, let me fix this hair. And then for the ability, we're gonna copy like Wolf's Gravestone / like the old Engulfing Lightning effect once again. We're gonna have it not only give 66 crit damage, which is like Homa in Wolf's Gravestone, it's gonna give us percent defense, right? This would be like R1, 20% defense, R5, 40% defense, which will be amazing. And then on top of that, it will have the good old defense percent scaling to something. And this time it's gonna be normal and charge attack damage. So let's say like 28% of your defense is turned into normal and charge attack damage bonus, which is a doozy for both these weapons. If this actually is a prediction that's correct out there, that would be insane. We're talking upwards of 1,000% normal attack and charge attack damage increase, which means that these characters will be pushing some lovely numbers between these new weapons and the new artifact set as well. Now let's get into Arataki Itto out here. So if I was to make Arataki Itto and the weapon is just gonna make new Staff of Homa crit damage up, I would give him a scaling ascension stat of crit rate. We've seen this before with other characters, right? Like with Yoimiya, and she got a crit damage bow. Yoimiya had crit chance scaling. We've seen this sort of stuff before where the big bad guys that are really hyped up by Mihoyo, they want to have that crit chance. Diluc, one of the OGs back in the day. So crit chance scaling there. Now let's make Arataki Itto work with our artifact in that new 5-star Claymore. So what should we do here? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give him a unique charge attack system where maybe you'll do damage and gain like certain stacks. We've seen this before with like Eula with her elemental skill, but this time it's gonna go for charge attack where you'll be able to unleash super special charge attacks. The more stacks you have, you'll consume them. You have to do it back all over again there. He's got the power of the Oni in there, so that makes him very hated. So he probably has some sort of taunt somewhere in his kit, right, where he wants to have all that defense, attract fire with something somewhere, some shape or form, and then just divert your enemy's attention that way. That'll probably be his elemental skill there. Then his elemental burst here, you know, but we're gonna take two people and combine them together. We're gonna take Noel, we're gonna take Razor, and we're gonna mush them together, right? If he's not healing like Noel, he should at least do more damage. So he's gonna have the auto Geo thing like Noel does. He's gonna have the defense to attack like Noel does. We'll have the attack speed bonus like Razor does, and he's just gonna go out there like a madman on the battlefield, left, right, front, center, ripping them all up as Arataki Itto would like to do there. And also one of his first ascensions, it's gonna give him more attack speed by doing that special charge attack that he has. That's what I would do if I designed a character like this. That would be absolutely amazing. And the second ascension, I would give those special charge attacks more attack based on his defense, which would be amazing there. For the rest of his stuff out there, just reduce the cooldown in his elemental burst. And then the last one, Let's make it a little bit ridiculous here, where you have like a percent chance not to consume those stacks when you're doing your special charge attacks there. And let's give your charge attacks, I don't know, 50% more crit damage bonus on there as well. So he's just brute forcing it. And then since he's a brute force monstrosity, he has more HP than the enemy. You know, he'll do a little bit more higher crit rate against them as well. That's what I would do with these new characters there. This is just predictions, obviously, out there. But if you find this stuff informative and you do like what you're seeing here, make sure you come back again, like, subscribe, join us all up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.